Coldest right now.
Yeah, it looks like. Brr.
Yeah. Okay. So 8 degrees in Tennessee.
Hey, Doc Savino's in here. What's up, Doc?
Oh, hello.
Yeah, if you guys can, post the temperature outside.
We want to see who's.
We want to see where you guys are from and how cold it is where you're at.
Yeah.
Did we blast out the email yet?
I think so.
All right, cool. We just did an email blast, guys. Give everybody a few minutes to get in here.
Yeah.
And we actually had a few members text us and say YouTube sent her a notification tonight, which is weird, but we're grateful. Thank you, YouTube, for letting our people know we're here.
Wow, maybe we're not shadow banned anymore.
Yeah. With everything else in the country's changing.
Yeah, you want to talk about climate change? Let's talk about the political climate change.
Climate change. I remember it used to be global warming.
They had to let go of that because we're all cold. We're all cold. Hey guys, how's the audio? Is it too echoey? Or you
give us a thumbs up?
Give us the, oh my gosh, Florida 41.
Yeah, I heard Florida, Pensacola got 8 inches of snow. You never know what to believe.
Yeah, that is.
But if you're in Florida, northern Florida, how much snow did you get?
38 degrees in Gainesville. That's almost freezing.
That's cold. Yeah.
Oh, good. The audio's good.
When we lived in Florida, though, I always enjoyed when we get that cold snaps.
Okay, Paul Black. No one asked you your opinion. Okay.
What do you say? What's Paul doing?
67 in Quartzsite. Nobody wants to know. We're talking about being cold here, people. So this live is for the cold right now. So if you're cold and uncomfortable, you found the right place. 28 degrees in Georgia. Alabama's crazy. I mean, this is, I just can't believe. Oh, acid rain. Remember acid rain?
Yeah, acid rain. Yep. What else was the other thing?
I was the ozone layer.
The ozone layer.
I grew up in school, 3rd grade, learning about the ozone. Freaked out. I was like, styrofoam is bad. We got to get rid of it. That's
the wacky left always has to have something to be scaring us with.
And it worked. Okay, Ohio's only 10 degrees.
Ooh.
Y'all should be like negative 20 based on the whole South. How'd the South get so cold? This is crazy. Oh, Manuela, 9 a.m. this morning, or 9 this morning. Hey, Manuela, guess who likes the fudge?
Oh, man.
Guess who likes
my granddaughter loves your fudge, Manuela.
Yeah.
She loves it. And we ate most of it on the way here. It kind of made the trip.
And it was so cute because every time, like, we need her to be happy, we put fudge in her mouth.
That's how I'm, yeah.
It's like, oh, you're sad, here's some fudge. So thank you for that.
So in today's video, guys, we thought it would be apropos to share our experience with freezing temperature weather because we actually have RV'd in below zero weather. We've also RV'd up in Yosemite and Sedona and 2 feet of snow. So we've got some experience with it. And we just thought it'd be a good topic to talk with you guys tonight and share our experience and some of the tips, things that we learned the hard way. Because you all know, we always learn by making our mistakes. That's how we got good at RVing. Now we're professional RVers, some people say.
Exactly. And we also have a lot of personal things to talk about because I don't know if y'all can tell, we are not at Thunder Canyon. And this is not John's room right here.
This is my granddaughter's room that my son just bought a brand new home in Joshua, Texas.
Oh, we are so blessed.
And we are in her room right now. They haven't set it up yet because they just moved in a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we're super excited to be here. And yes, we did wimp out.
Yes.
We were hoping to RV to my son's house. Only about a 13-hour ride from Thunder Canyon to Joshua, Texas. But Thunder Canyon got down into the single digits in the teens. And even in Texas here, last night, I believe it was 19 degrees. So a little too cold. We said, my son's got a house. So we drove the truck here. We did an RV.
Yep.
But we thought, let's talk about freezing cold RVing because RVing in the winter is not for sissies. But if you're prepared and you know what you're doing, you can have a lot of fun, RVing in the snow.
Exactly.
We've experienced all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
The good, the bad,
and the ugly. We've run out of propane. And we actually, some of our most successful videos that we've done was on winter camping. So if you go back 5-6 years,
it's true.
You'll see some videos we put out. One night we ran out of propane in Sedona, Arizona. Oh, we got a visitor.
We got somebody here. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Can you say hi? Hi. 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 She said hi.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, I know we're going to talk about winter RVing, but can we first enjoy this?
Show off the new love of my life.
This is what matters right here. This is all that matters.
You told me a bear?
And I showed her stickers today, so she's having fun with stickers. Yeah. We're showing her stickers.
Show my son's face. There he is. Yeah. Isn't he handsome?
Well, okay. Let's go. You say bye? Bye. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thank you for that.
Thanks for coming in, Shano.
Oh my goodness, that was so cool. She's excited.
She kind of walked in on her own.
She's like, that's my room, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Did you hear her?
She's a genius.
Oh, I love it. So yeah, we wanted to talk about winter RVing for a lot of reasons, because a lot of RV channels are, I mean, I get it. The RV is so expensive, right? So you want to use it as much as possible. And like, we really wanted to use it for this trip. But there are times where RVing, it's going to be hard. Maybe it's not the right call to make.
Especially with children.
Yeah. And there's so many factors to consider, because the way you winter RV is totally different than regular RVing. The rules change.
Completely. Yeah. We have a good friend of ours, Randy Adventures. Check out her YouTube channel. She awesome. Loves winter camping. She's done some great videos on winter camping.
She's a little crazy, okay? Because she's happy and smiling. And
she loves the snow.
And it's cold. Yeah. And she's just having a blast with it.
And when we say winter camping, she's up in Minnesota and she goes camping in the wintertime. So she's, minus 20, minus 25.
Well, nowadays you can be winter camping in Florida, apparently, because it's winter everywhere here. But yeah, we got a lot of good information, because like John was saying, some of the biggest mistakes we made, those are our best videos, because you guys really like it when we're suffering and cold. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, and we pretty much learned from the RV Odd Squad how to camp in the comments. We do videos on it. We'd share what we make. We were honest about our mistakes.
And then
all the comments would come in and tell us what to do next time. So in tonight's video, we're going to share our experience about that.
Yeah, we got a lot of good things to share. Oh, Shane's getting compliments. The baby's getting compliments. Everyone's just really, really excited. Thank you guys for being a part of this. So
our first 6 months out RVing, Mercedes and I were brand newbies. We went out and we made every mistake in the book.
This is embarrassing.
Okay. And we ran out of propane. And the reason why, you guys know RVs are insulated horribly. I mean, they're just not insulated very well at all. And my wife, being new to camping
and being Latina,
she wanted to set that thermostat at 78 degrees.
I really like warm temperatures.
We're in Sedona. We get a 2-foot snow. I think it was Valentine's Day, right? It was right on Valentine's Day.
Yep.
It was absolutely gorgeous. But in the middle of the night, we ran out of propane and we didn't have any backup tanks. We were still new at this stuff. We were learning, right? Yep. So we learned this pretty tough lesson. The most important lesson about RVing in the wintertime is be ready.
Yes.
Be ready for anything. Redundancy, backup systems, you know, the simple things like always have plenty of clothes. It's nice to keep a hat on your head. Don't set your thermostat to 78 degrees in an RV. It's not going to work very well.
So he was going through propane every 2 days and he's like, this is really expensive. Now, mind you, Trump was president back then, so the propane wasn't as expensive as it has been. But he was like, what do I do? And then, of course, when you run out of propane, is always going to be in the middle of the night when it's the coldest. That's just guaranteed. So he's like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm going through all this propane. This is really expensive. We didn't budget to go through 2 big things of propane every 2 days. Okay?
Well, I knew you couldn't run it at 78 degrees, and I like it at about 65, 68.
Yeah.
So Mercedes learned pretty quick that you couldn't keep the temperature in the RV at around 78 degrees.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. You burn through propane. They're not efficient. Just a bad idea.
For trying, though. He was doing his darndest.
Well, I actually enjoy winter camping and cold camping. I like the cuddling because the best heat is body heat, right? I mean, I love it. Love it. Lots of blankets.
Now I see.
But a few things that we learned. Number one is have some extra propane tanks. Have redundancy backup systems.
Yes, because you never know.
And then also, I'm going to tell you, we're going to share with you guys a few tricks that we learned along the way that really, really helped us. One of those is that number one, you can do oil radiator heaters, which we believe is the best.
Those work really good.
The best. They work fantastic. The high voltage, hot air blowing, no good. No good. They suck electricity. They're going to pop your breakers. they're a pain.
That's the game. You're playing this electric game
So
in balance.
RVs, not only are they not very well insulated, they also don't have very good electrical systems in them.
You only have so much electricity.
You only have so much power you can suck off, whether it's a 30 amp or a 50 amp. And when it gets cold, you want to use, if you're in a campground, you got free electricity, it's included in your bill, why not use that electricity?
Yep.
So it's a balance of balancing that out. We used to keep an oil radiator in our bedroom, which was wonderful. We'd close the door. It would get up near where Sadie's would want it to be, 78 degrees.
Just wherever I was.
And then in the living room, in near the kitchen, because the heat would go up top. So we'd keep some in the living room. Again, oil radiator heaters are the best, number one.
And the thing is, it takes a little while for them to heat up, but they don't use a lot of these tiny space heaters if they're just electric. They use so much that if you dare turn on a light switch, you lose all power. And then you have a whole host of other problems. Or what we learned is that we could plug in 2 heaters in specific outlets, but they couldn't be on the same.
But not be on the same line. And we never usually, when we're running at max capacity, we wouldn't turn on our microwave.
No blow drying the hair.
No blow drying the hair. So you really got to have good electrical management.
Yes.
Most campgrounds will not only have your 50 or 30 amp plug, but typically there'll be extra 20 amp plugs, right? So you always have a few extra extension cords that you're going to run off the pedestal, and then you can kind of slip it in through one of your slides, and then you can plug into that. So you're not pulling off that 30 or 50 amp. You actually can run up to, most parks, our park, Thunder Canyon has 2 20s, a 30 and a 50. Yeah. So you can run multiple lines to keep your place nice. That worked really well for us. But the secret that it took me about 3 years to learn.
Only 3 years.
In the wintertime, when you're RVing, take your oil radiator heater and put it in the cargo bay or the luggage bay underneath our living room. Because no matter what you're doing in your RV, the floors are extremely cold.
The heat goes up.
They're thin. They're not insulated. But when we started putting those radiators underneath the rig, it would keep the floor warm, and it just gave it a really, really nice feel. I would not suggest putting anything that is flammable in your luggage bay because you're not down there. Obviously, make sure all your smoke detectors work. Obviously, you don't want to have a fire.
Oh, and another good one too that helps, because the floors do get really cold, and if you're walking around in your socks, right, you're gonna rugs, like floor rugs.
Yes.
And then what we did, because the RVs are so small, that we would get kind of cheap but large area rugs that just covered what we needed, and then at the end of the winter just chuck them, which I know is not like but it just really helped keep the feet warm, because it was crazy.
The area rugs were really, really nice.
Yep.
Another thing about electrical management, guys, number one, it's a fire danger, but number two, you just got to really pay close attention to your energy management.
Yeah. Oh, and then another thing along that line, electric blankets, etc. But remember, they're pulling heat too, so everything's really tricky.
One thing that is a huge game changer in RVing, if you full-time RV, you should have skirting.
Yes.
Skirting, those drafts go underneath your rig, and it makes it really cold. If you're going to camp in one spot for a long period of time, obviously you don't want to skirt it if you're only there for a few nights.
That would be a bad choice.
Although you can. They actually have blow-up skirting.
That's true.
Right? That can be, deflated, put away, tucked away, and then you can blow it up around the bottom of your RV. But another thing that we would do when we did do skirts one year is we put a diesel heater underneath the rig when it got super, super cold.
Yeah.
So it would keep underneath the rig warm. Yeah. And then by skirting, it would blocking that draft from going under the rig. So if you're a full-time winter camper and you're not going to move your rig, make sure you have skirting. It's going to save you money. It's absolutely going to save you money.
Well, and if you are not there stationary for a while, then you could move.
Yeah.
But one of the big lies that people think, and everyone thinks this is not an original thought. We thought this ourselves. We're like, we don't need any winter jackets anymore because we're just going to chase 70. We're always going to be in tropical climates. A lot of mistakes. We didn't account for elevation. So maybe we were in a southern state, but
we're in Arizona,
like a mile high, it's cold. Or like we threw away all of our winter stuff, and then we needed it, thinking, oh, we're living so minimalist. We're so minimalist. And it's like, no, we're just making bad life choices. So I know you think you're going to chase 70. I know you think it'll always be palm trees, but you do have to be ready for anything, because Guys,
right now.
Yeah, look at
it's
Florida.
snowing in Florida.
Look at all these Floridians. They're giving these Floridians in the chat right now are giving temperatures that are just as bad as other people in Ohio.
Yes, exactly. And back to skirting now. So you can do blow up skirting, which are easy to, to blow up, get around your rig perimeter, take it down and put them, be able to pack them away. But if you're there longer term, you can use fiber board, you can use insulation board, you can use foam board, and basically like a tape. Now, obviously, you don't want, when you're going to tape to the side of your rig.
Don't use Gorilla tape.
Don't use Gorilla tape, unless you want to tear off some of your finish or that $2,000 magic coating that Camping World puts on there for you. Remember that stuff?
It's invisible, like the Emperor's clothes.
So that's the last thing I'd say about
skirting.
About the skirting, and then alternative heating sources, right? Obviously, clothes. Hat on your head.
Clothes.
The more clothes you have on, the less energy and resources you're going to be using to keep the place warm. Mercedes, she was in a winter jacket sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Inside.
You do what you got to do.
As I told you, body heat's one of my favorite. I love camping in the wintertime. I love it. It's cozy. It's nice, and it's a nice cup of hot cocoa.
That's true. When you have a warm meal like soup or something, that real comfort food.
Yeah, it's nice, especially when you camp with people you love. And then blankets. Electric blankets are a big deal. At Thunder Canyon this year for Christmas, we gave all the ladies at Thunder Canyon an electric blanket for Christmas.
Yep.
Which they're great. They're fantastic.
And they're putting them to good use.
Yep. Even Mercedes likes to use heating pads. Just to sit on a heating pad and that keeps her warm.
Yeah.
Nice socks, nice boots. We both had slippers in the RV because we didn't like bringing stuff in and out of the RV.
You don't want to wear your boots in the RV.
You don't want to use your boots, and slippers are always nice to keep near the door. But as you guys know, with RVs, one of the biggest problems is where do you store your shoes? And everybody's got a different situation. So we had one spot, Mercedes put a hanger up right next to the door where we kind of slide the shoes across. Remember that thing you had?
Yeah, it was one of those, those wall organizers that has little pockets for shoes. And we put it on the wall next to the door, but where it was out of the way. So we could immediately take off our shoes when we walked in, because if it's cold and wet out there, the last thing you want to do is track that all throughout your RV.
Exactly. So that's extra clothes. If you guys think of anything we're missing, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Hey, Michael Shepard's in here.
Oh, yeah. We got some really good comments.
It looks like help is on the way to North Carolina, guys. Trump's flying in there on Friday.
Yep.
Things are looking better.
And then this one, I wanted to add a special point to that one. You did a whole video.
Yeah, so I did a whole video on this, and it's basically having spare parts for your RV. There's certain things that you want to have spare parts on. The most important that I found was on my HVAC system, right? On my heat system. I bought an extra sail switch, SAIL, and I bought what's called a limit switch, LIMIT. These are $15, $16 items. Typically, 90% of the times, it's what breaks on your heating system in your RV. And it can take you a week or 2 weeks to get new parts. So for $30, go ahead and buy some additional parts that's going to keep your heater working. A limit switch and a sail switch.
And I wanted to add a point to this. The climate, not just the weather, but the political climate and the economic climate, in my opinion, parts from China, the cheap parts, I think they're going to be hard to come by in a couple of months, especially with tariffs, the Department of External Revenue Service, all those kinds of things.
I hope so, because I'd rather make them here.
No, I agree with that. But my point being, something like a limit switch and a sail switch right now, I think they're like $14 a piece. They're super, super cheap.
Everybody's rig is different. So do the research on your heating system and get the right one.
Yeah, you gotta. But my fear is that if you wait till February, 6 months from now, or maybe even next winter, if you wait too long and then all of a sudden there's a parts issue. I mean, you guys know what it was with microchips back in 2020. You just never know. So this is why redundancy is so important. And even though, you could order it from Amazon and it could be there soon, what do you do that night? What do you do tonight if you don't have, if your sail switch or your limit switch is acting up? You need one on hand, and they're too cheap not to have them.
Yeah, they're super, and they're easy to replace. Again, there's so many different rigs, so many different types of system, but all of them have limit switches and sail switches.
That's right.
And I did a whole video on this, you guys, and it's got quite a few views now, and I've got a lot in the comments. You'll see people saying, thank you. I bought the parts. My system went down. This video saved us. So I love doing videos like that. So if you want to know more about it, put in RV Odd Couple and heating, RV heating.
Yep. And then one person's just wrote, they make 4-season RVs. Yeah, but you need
Fox makes a pretty good 4-season RV.
Yep. But even still, I mean, there are going to be times where you're forced to make your RV 4 seasons, even though it's not 4 seasons. Yeah. And life happens.
They're never insulated as good as they tell you they are. Believe us.
You can only do so much with like this much insulation.
Yep.
Hey, Alan, by the way, the DARs, they're the ones with the laundry detergent.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I just made that recipe, the homemade laundry detergent.
Yep. So we had our extra parts. We had extra barrels of propane, guys. Our big rig, our Piper 42-footer, had 2 30-gallon tanks. By the time we had finished and had a few years under our belt, we had 2 backup tanks, and we had another tank inside the back of the truck. So always have extra propane.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And then redundancy.
Yep.
What happens if that breaks? The electricity goes out. It's a bad storm. You got to be ready. And Mr. Heater's got some propane backup heating, but diesel is another type of heater they're doing now. We've never tried it, so I'm not except underneath our rig, but I've never tried it in the house.
Yep.
But they have different ventilating systems for that now. So do your research and always have a backup plan.
Yeah. Well, and then there's one, I don't know, is there a couple more? Because there's one option that I want to talk about, but should we save that for the end?
No, go.
So we believe in this channel telling you like it is. And there are times where you just shouldn't be in an RV in certain places. And it's kind of a come to Jesus moment. And that's kind of what happened to us in this trip to Texas. It would have been so much more comfortable to travel here in the RV and be able to stop and use our own bathroom instead of having to go into the rest stop and just pull over and make a sandwich instead of having to find food out and about. It would have been so much easier. But with these temperatures, we couldn't guarantee that our water lines wouldn't freeze. And if they freeze, well, what's the point in having a toilet if you can't use it because you don't have water because it's frozen?
Yep.
And so all these things, when you really think about it, and then the other thing too is the drive time. Driving a location here to here takes 6 hours in a car. It's going to take 8 to 10 in an RV.
Right.
I mean, because you include the stops, you can't go as fast. And for so many reasons, it's going to take a lot longer.
Yep, at time. And then, of course, the most important next to your heat is your water.
Yeah.
You've got to, hopefully your RV has heating pads on all their reserve tanks. You don't want to get a fudgesicle. I tell people to never leave. A lot of people, it's a bad mistake. They leave their black tank open and they put a P-trap in there.
Yeah.
And we had somebody do this at Thunder Canyon a couple of weeks ago. That froze and it broke their line, and it wasn't pretty. So wouldn't suggest doing that. But
the rules change.
Most freshwater tanks and most RVs do have an electric pad on there to keep that, from freezing. And then one of the things we did from our main water line out to the spigot at the campground, I heated that line.
Yeah.
Okay. But if it's going to get super, super cold and you're not sure about the electricity, you don't have extra electricity to heat that line, then you basically unplug, get away from it, fill your freshwater tanks with fresh water so that you can use that for, obviously you got to make sure your pump is working in your RV. So test your pump, make sure it's working, and then fill up your freshwater tanks, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So Stacy and Ned had a good tip. They carry extra water jugs just in case.
Yeah.
That's a big one too, because what happens if you're in a campground and the spigot is frozen? There are times where it's like, I can't get the water out of the ground. Extra
water, extra propane. Just again, it's the guy redundancy. Have extra. We were up in the mountains once, and there was a 18-inch storm, and we couldn't leave the park for 3 days. Everything was closed.
Yep.
So have lots of food. Be stocked up on dry foods. RVs are tricky for for a lot of food. So long-term storage food is light. It's easy to store, and you can keep extra just in case of an emergency.
We have a lot of people giving good tips about wind chill, all of this stuff.
Yes.
One thing I will say, we had somebody come to Thunder Canyon, and they were so excited, and they were going to stay for a couple months. Well, it turned out, even though her RV was a motorhome, the way her water pipes were, they were completely exposed.
They were
on the bottom.
exposed, yes.
And so we were getting enough of a dip that she just didn't feel comfortable because she knew that if something was going to freeze, it's not just keeping the inside of the RV that's important. You got to keep those outside parts too, and you know, just her RV the way it was designed. And then her next door neighbor, same type of RV but totally different design, was totally fine.
Yep. So know your RV, right? Know your RV, and that takes time to understand your RV. But any exposed water lines, if they're not heated and you get cold like it is right now, they're going to freeze and they're going to break, and you got a big problem.
Well, and the other thing too is sometimes you will get cold temperatures, but it pops up and you're okay.
Yep.
But right now, it seems like pretty much everywhere, it's just not getting
It's
warm
the deep
enough.
freeze. When it dips down below freezing for a few hours, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
when it dips below freezing and it stays there for days, that's when you can have serious problems.
Yeah.
I've never liked this tip, but Karen, it's the trickle.
Yeah.
The trickle can work.
The trickle tip.
The trickle tip, I just heat my hoses. We've never really disconnected from water. One time we disconnected from water because it was going to get down to 8 below zero.
Yeah.
And that's when I got nervous. So I basically filled my tanks, made sure my water pump worked, and we were good to go.
Yeah.
But know your RV.
Yeah.
Just learn your RV. They're all different.
Pool noodles, that's a good idea to insulate. And they have heated hoses now that are just absolutely amazing.
On skylights and vents on the roof, they actually make little pillows.
Yeah.
Right? So insulation is a great one.
Yeah.
You can put plastic over your windows. As you guys know, in the wintertime in RVs, sometimes you can have condensation problems, which is tricky.
That's another.
Lots of moisture. Mercedes and I were blessed because in our Piper, we never, ever once had condensation problems.
I think it was just good ventilation.
It was good ventilation, exactly. And I like good ventilation. We never taped our windows or plastic our windows because we were never in cold weather for that long.
Mm-hmm.
But there's lots of things you can do, to do that. Weather stripping around your doors, the entry into the rig. Make sure you have weather stripping and stuff like that.
Another big one is inside the kitchen cabinets. What is that stuff?
Leave them open when it's going to get super cold, so the heat from the RV is going to get into those cabinets, especially where you have water.
Exactly.
So kitchen sink, bathroom sinks, leave the doors open so that underneath there won't freeze.
And what's the stuff, guys? Help me out in the comments. It's like the same stuff that you put in your car so it doesn't get too hot. It's that Reflectix, I think it's called.
Yeah, Reflectix.
So some people, what they'll do, and this is a bonus because it helps you when it's too hot and too cold, is that they'll open their cabinets and inside the line, right, where it touches the exterior, they'll put Reflectix. And what it does is it gives you like a 3-degree buffer. And so whether it's too hot outside or too cold outside, it'll just help it just a little bit to stay warmer because you keep those cabinets closed and you don't think about it, but it's 20 degrees colder inside the cabinet than it is in the general.
We've
RV.
never done that, but some people do that.
No, we bought an RV where somebody did that for us. Remember the Mini Winnie?
Oh, we rented our rig out one year and they went in there. That's right. Bill and Nan had our rig for 3 or 4 months over the winter and they went ahead and they did it. Yeah, that's right. They did do that.
And the Mini Winnie, Paul and Biv did that.
Well, that's how we bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bonus.
So somebody else says bubble wrap.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's basically like bubble wrap, but it's a reflected
30% of your heat. Again, it just depends on the RV. They're all different. Everybody has different.
Silver buttons, blackout curtains. No, that's just so I can sleep. I don't think that has anything to do with that's just for my sanity so I can sleep.
Let's see. Let's go through some of these comments.
We got some really good
stars at
tips.
8 hours longer above freezing. Yep, we talked about that.
Alan just gave us a really good
cold
tip.
and windy. Yeah, windy's a big one, especially when it's cold. That's what goes right through you. Up. Check your water pump, Kathy. You're absolutely right. I did talk about that.
Yep.
Bleach your freshwater tank. There's all kinds of things people do. I actually bought a special. I don't even remember the name of it, but I bought a jug of stuff to treat my water tank. I don't use bleach in my tank, but a lot of people do.
Yeah. And then Alan says the tip, keep batteries charged up in cold weather.
Yes.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. One of the things that we did the last couple of years we were out there RVing is we had solar generators.
Yeah.
So you can actually plug them in, always have backup battery systems for your phones. Those are great. Those are fantastic. We've got quite a few of those now.
Yep. So I was wondering if we should do like an RVing video just on our drive here, because our drive here, we had to we still used some RV tips, but it wasn't the same because we had to change it for the car. But we made really good time.
Yeah, we made the trip in 12 hours from Thunder Canyon to where my son's new home is, and it was a beautiful ride. It's a lot different when you're pulling a 42-foot rig than when you're just driving in a car. Obviously, we were doing 70, 75 all the way, which was the speed limit.
It was so nice because anytime we had to stop, we could easily do so. There were a couple times where we changed ideas and we're like, no, we'll go there instead of there. And he was making these turns and I'm thinking to myself, he never would have been able to do that in the RV. Like pivot and just.
Well, you need a plan. You got to have a plan and you got to pay really close attention wherever you're driving, especially when you have a super, super long rig.
Exactly. So that was always, looks like a lot of people are coming
I think we got everything.
Yeah. Now, can we talk about something that's not related to winter RVing? But
this is weird that we're talking about RVs. We're an RV channel, but we usually don't talk about RVs.
I know we don't normally talk about RVs. Can we talk about the inauguration and what we did at Thunder Canyon? Because that was absolutely amazing.
Please do. We had it was epic at Thunder Canyon for the inauguration.
The party we had. And, we're all watching this together. And here's what I realized is that Thunder Canyon, we watch things happen together. We watched all the presidential debates together. We even watched when the assassination attempt.
The assassination attempt. We saw when they raided his house. We were all together.
And it's funny, when you watch the news together, you grow a bond with people.
Yeah. Thunder Canyon, we've got this community now. I think there's around, 25 of us.
Yeah.
And we've kind of all gone through this together. So the inauguration was pretty special to us all.
Yes.
And every time, that was the best inauguration I've ever seen.
Wild.
We were cheering and yelling and screaming. We've got some video we'll be popping up to show you guys, but
so awesome.
It was wonderful.
Well, it was just vindication. I never thought that moment would come. I was literally telling my husband, we better register as Democrats and pretend like we like rainbows and stuff like that, because I could see the climate and it was like, ooh, this is a really bad time to poke your head out. And I'm glad he insisted on doing it anyways. But boy, was it touch and go there for a while.
Yeah.
And then one of the funniest parts about the inauguration was watching that speech that Trump gave afterwards. This was unlike any inauguration I've ever seen.
Nothing like it.
But
what they've done to this guy for the past 8 years of his life or longer.
Yeah.
Boy, and he got the power back, and every day it seems like I think he's done 200 executive orders so far. So things are changing super fast. Lots of hope. And it was so cute because Manuela came by and she had all these decor of the mugshot of Trump and all the things he went through, and just she had all over the place.
And then flags and she had it was just awesome, and the fudge. But it was just the camaraderie of all of us going through that together. And even the songs that they played leading up, guess what? All the squad knew the songs and everyone was singing. It was, I've never seen an inauguration where everyone is singing along with have you guys? That's wild.
Well, this person didn't like the discussion. They said goodbye.
Oh,
bye. God bless you.
Yep. Wish you well.
Take care.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. And then we got someone else saying USA, USA, USA. That's right, Michigander. That's right.
And heat tape. I've never tried heat tape, Michigander.
That's a good idea.
Yep, I've never tried it. I actually made my own. I got my own hose. I cut it to the length. Mm-hmm. I wrapped it in heat tape, and it still works. I made that. I did a video on it years ago. We've done videos on just about everything you can imagine with an RV.
Yeah, it's pretty. Let's go, Brandon. That's right. And wasn't that hilarious? Were you guys watching the faces of the previous presidents the more he spoke? I don't know about you, but for the first half of Trump's speech, Clinton was smiling. Bill was like,
did you see the boos?
Oh, yeah.
The boos for the Clintons, the boos for Obama.
There's this clip.
Our country's had it. Our country they're done. We're done. The silent majority is no longer sleeping. We're wide awake.
And that's why I wanted to bring this up, is because I think now more than ever, we need to double down on what we stand for. Yeah. And we can't rest on our laurels.
Stand up for what you believe.
And this is not the time to give up, because
it's get louder.
And to get more clear and to get more precise and respectfully, obviously, but we cannot be shamed into being quiet. Mm-hmm. We can't be bullied. I think
we're the only channel that ever said we supported Trump.
Yeah.
Other channels will never go near it. Why? Because we've lost 100,000 subscribers when we got political. But after 2020, we felt we had to say something because nobody else was. And more people started talking about God. More and more channels started talking about God. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but God's in more conversations now than he was last year.
That's right.
More and more of these high school and professional athletes are giving all the glory to Christ, right?
Exactly.
On air.
Yeah.
And they cut away from it. But this is the reason we're beginning to win. We're turning back to God. Our country turned away from God. And then even Christians, which is disgusting to me, they stopped talking about it. They were shamed into silence, right? Shamed into not talking about the gospel. The truth is the gospel, you know, and but too many Christians just got quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I saw Nomadic Fanatic once.
Oh, he
2 years ago. He said something to support Trump 2 years ago, and he got, castrated. They
went after him.
They went after him. And so you're not supposed to do that. We don't care. We are who we are. If you like us, welcome.
Yeah.
Hang out with us. Come visit.
Yep.
And if you don't like us, that's okay too. God bless. We're not your channel.
Go around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I understand you don't want to be off-putting and we're not trying to do that. But at the same time, we're going to be who we are. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Yeah. And there's plenty of other people. There's other channels that RV too that voted differently than we did. And you can follow them. This is a free country. And that's what freedom is. I think that I'm looking at all these comments and a lot of people.
I know when Barron shook Biden's hand, yeah, FAFO.
What did he say?
FAFO is that's the bet right now.
What did he say? Oh, and Carrie Underwood under pressure. She was
the bomb.
She did great.
And man, did she she got wrecked from Hollywood. That's why he had such a hard time getting professional performers, because you stick your head up and say, you're anything in support of God, family, and country.
Yep.
You're not supposed to do that. And that's why the country got so lost.
Yep.
Too many of us were keeping our heads down.
And
but more and more, we'd pop our heads up. We started saying something. More channels got brave. They started talking about it. And look, we're in now. Now you're going to see the momentum and the wave is pushing so hard that way. Things are changing so fast. Yep. That more and more people are going to get louder and louder and louder. And then what's going to happen is the crazy left, they're going to start putting their heads down and being ashamed.
They're going to realize how stupid
they looked. What they were trying to do to our kids, what they were trying to teach our children.
Yep.
That's when we went kind of wacko.
That was the line, because this is America. You want to wear what you want to wear. You want to
live the way you want to live.
Parts you want to cut off. Yep. That's fine. If you're an adult,
but go right stay away from our kids.
Yeah, but don't put that mind sickness in.
Any teacher that wants to talk to a child about sexuality is not a teacher; they're a predator.
Yeah, that's
period.
That's not what.
And YouTube probably just dumped 30 subscribers for me saying that, but I don't care.
But it's the truth, and I think more people need to speak the truth. Another thing that I was just thinking about this. This group of people is absolutely so amazing. And it was really wild trying to leave town the same day we were throwing a big party.
Yeah.
But we all...
As soon as the country didn't blow up, we jumped in and started driving. We left at 4:00.
Exactly. But the other piece too, every time did you guys notice how much Trump he was strong, but he wasn't boastful about himself. It was about... when he talked about himself, it was about his usefulness to others and how God was using him for God's
3
purpose.
Times.
Yep.
That God saved him to do a job here for this country.
So it wasn't about Trump. It was like...
It was about God.
Yes. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was...
So Trump's changing too.
Something really shifted.
Yeah. God saved his life.
Yeah.
God spared the United States of America. Give us one more shot. Let's not blow it.
Well, and he talked about his experience, but it was less selfish. It was selfless the way he talked about that journey.
And you're right, Dee Dee. Families. I've got family members who won't talk to us because I talk about God and politics.
Yeah.
I've got kids I went to high school with. They won't talk to me anymore. It's been horrible what this woke ideology has done to people. But again, it's been exposed, and it's being more and more exposed every day, and it's getting good. It's getting good.
And my only worry, and this was the same issue that even Shane said this, my only worry is what's going to happen next, because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So stay vigilant, guys, double down on who you are and with love, because when people realize how twisted they've gone, the fact that Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street are a couple and not just two goofy characters. They were two goofy characters, and Ernie drove Bert crazy, and it was perfect. And then they had to go into something that has no business in a show designed for kids, right? And so we need to double down now more than ever.
This comment right here, J6, that one is one of the ones I cried at.
Yeah.
Watching those guys getting out of jail and standing out there and singing God Bless America. Singing, what's his name? Lee. What's his name of the song?
Yeah, I'm proud to be an American.
I'm proud to be an American. That one just choked me up. Absolutely love that. I love the prayers by Franklin Graham. That portion where he said, for the 4 past years, it's looked very dark. But look what God has done here today.
In front of Biden.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Yep. People are asking about the dog. Yeah, we brought Skippy. And so Shayna's really appreciating looking at Skippy because he's such a cute old dog. It's so good.
Yep. I agree with you a bit, William. Yep. There's a lot of Christians who they'll whisper they're Christian. Yeah. And that's not our job. Our job is to be loud.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
Lee Greenwood, there it is. Thank you, Open Mind.
Thank you, guys. See, that's the wonderful thing about talking to our people is that we don't have to remember what we're talking about. Y'all will fill the blanks for us.
Yeah, Dustin, I forgot about that. The bishop, the crazy bishop lady.
Oh,
one of Satan's little elves. I call her Satan's elf. I didn't know Satan had elves.
On Twitter, okay, there's this picture of her where she really is giving elf vibes. She identifies as an elf. It is hilarious. She's giving elf vibes. But that's the thing. We need to show compassion to people that feel and see the world differently than us because they really do think that that they're the target right now. And what's the target right now is the lack of common sense. What's the target right now is all the stuff that is broken and inhumane. They're completely backwards and they don't even realize it.
Yeah. And here's the deal, you guys. More and more people are going to start to wake up. Mercedes, you started to wake up.
And
she was leftist when I met her.
It was horrible. It really sucks realizing that everything you once believed to be true was a lie. So you have to show compassion. Well, you don't have to.
Well, we have to forgive. They're brainwashed. These people really, really believe this stuff.
Yeah.
And as they start to wake up, we got to reach out a hand and treat them in love and show them what works for us.
Yeah.
Because I believe this movement is just getting started. It's going to explode. Mm-hmm. So, again, treat people with love and forgiveness. We got to forgive.
I wasn't an AOC. I was a Democrat before Democrats met communists, if that makes sense. Like the Democratic Party didn't used to be communist. They turned and evolved communist. But before they were communists, I considered myself.
They went past communists. They went full-blown Marxist.
I don't even
This
know.
is a Marxist. And the stuff they're teaching our children. So,
yeah.
All right, we're getting way off track on this RV show. But we're going to go play with our grandchildren. You guys have anything else?
Yeah, you guys have like 2 seconds to say something real quick. But duty calls. We only have such a short amount of time here with them, so we want to enjoy as much of it as possible.
Yeah, so thanks for your support, guys. Keep us in your prayers. We're going to be here for about a week.
Yep.
We're going to head back to Thunder Canyon, and we will be taking the RV up into North Carolina and bringing a lot of help. We're bringing that way. So everybody that's contributed to that, thank you for that. And we'll see you guys on Sunday's video and next Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday, too.
Right. Bye, guys.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Have a good evening.